What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is the story of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. Now, again, I don't think you know much about this, do you?
No.
I don't really need to give any explanation. I don't want to give any spoilers or anything like that. Very powerful video, so be prepared for that, I guess. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Smash that like button as well, guys. We'd seriously appreciate that. Let us know in the comments any other videos you want us to react to as well. It may feel like we're not doing your video if you keep suggesting it, but we've got a lot of suggestions, haven't we? And we've made a little bit of a list. So let us know in the comments what you want us to suggest to, and we promise you eventually we will get around to it, won't we? 100%. So hit that like button as well. Smash that subscribe button if you're new around here. Like, why not? Would seriously appreciate that as well. Daily content. And let's get into the story of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. What we got?
Not every soldier is recognized for his heroic actions. Indeed, one of the countless tragedies of war is that the bodies of many soldiers are never even identified. On August 3rd, 1956, 3 years after the end of the Korean War, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill to select and pay tribute to the unknown soldiers of the Korean War and World War II. These soldiers would be buried in the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. The Tomb of the Unknowns was created in response to the mass casualties of World War I. The idea of honoring the unknown dead, of which there were so many in World War I, began in Great Britain in 1920. Then, in March 1921, the U.S. Congress approved a plan to return the body of an unknown American soldier from the war and bury him with full honors in a tomb to be constructed at the Memorial Amphitheater in Arlington National Cemetery.
Wow, I mean, we won't pause too much, but just from that image there, you can see the amount of respect from people.
Yeah.
Completely deserved
100%,
respect.
Yeah.
But wow.
I've been to the graves, French graves of the French army, and just walking down the paths and looking to your left and right and just seeing all these graves that nobody knows who's in them. It's so emotional.
I can imagine, and powerful, I guess, as well.
It's crazy though that you don't know who they are.
I mean, I think now, obviously back then the technology wasn't there, was it? It was hard to determine.
Yeah.
Again, please let us know in the comments how common it is nowadays, because also there's DNA testing.
It's really understandable back then why.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's more shocking at how many.
Oh.
Like people that just never went home to their families.
It's absolutely awful, isn't it? And again, it just highlights that whole nth degree of respect you have to have for anyone in these situations, because they're doing it so we can pretty much walk free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So absolutely fair play. And again, I feel like we definitely need to do a reaction to, I think, the fallen of World War II.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that opened my eyes to just how many people actually was lost during them. It's crazy, and it's so sad to see.
Yeah.
On Memorial Day, 1921, 4 unknown soldiers were exhumed from 4 World War I American cemeteries in France.
I think they're one of the ones
they were placed in 4.
Was that one of the ones you went to?
It just looked exactly like that, and it's just so like, whether the sun's shining or not, it's just doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
It's still just like so eerie and.
I can imagine. I mean, I haven't actually been to one, but I definitely need to go over and pay my respects as well. But mental.
And I went when I was like 13.
Yeah.
When I was a 13-year-old. I was like, so if I went back now, I think I'm
understanding it more and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, yeah.
4 identical caskets, and set before a highly decorated veteran of that war, U.S. Army Sergeant Edward F. Younger. Sergeant Younger ceremonially selected 1 casket. He later spoke of his decision.
I was left alone in the chapel. There were 4 coffins, all unmarked and unnamed. The one that I placed the roses on would be the one brought home and placed in the National Shrine. I walked around the coffins 3 times. Then suddenly I stopped. What caused me to stop, I don't know. It was as though something had pulled me. I placed the roses on the coffin in front of me. I can still remember the odd feeling that I had, standing there alone.
The chosen unknown was transported to the United States aboard the USS Olympia. Those remaining were interred in the Meuse-Argonne Cemetery, France. The selected unknown lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda until midnight on November 10th, 1921. On November 11th, Armistice Day, the casket of that unknown soldier was carried from the Rotunda to Arlington National Cemetery under a military escort. Behind the caisson bearing the flag-draped casket walked President Harding, Vice President Coolidge, Chief Justice Taft, and the other justices of the Supreme Court.
Again, just appreciate.
I've got goosebumps.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of them which definitely gives you that. But just to appreciate how many people have come out just to pay respect, like fair play,
yeah.
100% deserved again.
Members of the Cabinet, Senate, and House of Representatives, generals and other distinguished officers from America's wars, and recipients of the Medal of Honor. President Harding officiated at the interment ceremonies at the Memorial Amphitheater at Arlington National Cemetery. He conferred upon the unknown soldier the Medal of Honor and the Distinguished Service Cross. Representatives of foreign governments allied with the U.S. in World War I participated as well, bestowing upon the unknown their own highest military awards. The United States reciprocated this gesture, honoring an unknown soldier from nations of France, Great Britain, Belgium, Italy, and Romania with the Medal of Honor. In the history of the Medal of Honor, these are the only 5 instances in which the award was presented to a foreign soldier. After World War II, plans were made for the selection and burial of an unknown from that war. But fighting in Korea broke out before the selection process had begun, and the decision was made to postpone until a more appropriate time. That time turned out to be 1958, when unknowns from World War II and the Korean War were selected for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns. The final selection of the unknown from the Korean War took place on May 15th, 1958. All of the unknown war dead from that war had been buried in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In that place, 4 candidates for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns were placed in identical caskets, draped with American flags. Master Sergeant Ned Lyle, a recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross for heroic action in Korea, was designated to make the final selection. He placed a wreath of blue and white carnations on one casket and saluted the remains of the soldier inside. The selection of the World War II unknown took place 11 days later aboard the USS Canberra. Earlier stages of the selection process had resulted in 1 remaining candidate from the European Theater of Operations and 1 candidate from the Pacific Theater. Hospital Corpsman First Class William R. Charette, recipient of the Medal of Honor for actions in the Korean War, made the final selection. The selected unknown, along with the unknown from the Korean War, arrived in Washington on May 28, 1958. They lay in state in the Capitol Rotunda until 1 p.m. on May 30th. As the procession moved toward Arlington National Cemetery, the 2 caissons, each carrying 1 unknown, traveled side by side. When they reached the cemetery, they shifted into a column led by the caisson bearing the World War II unknown soldier. As the caissons entered the cemetery, 20 jet fighters and bombers passed overhead, with 1 plane missing from each formation. The casket of the World War II unknown soldier was placed in front of President Eisenhower, and the Korean War unknown soldier in front of Vice President Nixon. The Marine Band played the national anthem, and then a bugler sounded attention 3 times. After a long moment of silence, President Eisenhower placed a Medal of Honor on each casket. The unknowns of World War II.
I mean, I know we haven't really paused. I haven't really wanted to pause it, to be honest with you.
No.
It's just something what gets to you, isn't it? And you just kind of getting thrilled with it. Oh, wow, man. I mean, it's amazing that they have done this. And I think, obviously, again, please let us know in the comments, but I don't think it is common nowadays, obviously, with DNA tests and stuff like that. So at least people get, I guess, that closure of being identified.
I think it definitely makes it somewhat easier to know than to not know.
Yes, to definitely know.
Yeah.
And not be wondering and stuff like that, I guess.
Not that it
Closure
makes,
probably isn't the right word.
It's just better to, I don't know, I feel like I definitely prefer to know for sure than to be wondering.
Yeah,
and to not know what's happened.
Yeah, exactly. And it is absolutely awful.
Obviously, you wouldn't wish it on anybody, but
oh, definitely not.
If it was a situation where you had to pick one, I think
you definitely want it to be identified, 100%. And again, the fact that these guys are doing it to protect us as well, it is absolutely mental.
But the respect shown just shows, everybody that's there just shows, how important and how meaningful soldiers that 100%. Go out to fight are.
And I imagine if anyone is, I know there is some people from the military and stuff like that in the comment section who have served previously. Huge respect to you guys. Does this get you up even more and make you feel even prouder? Because I imagine it does to serve family, your country. Yeah, because they're they're brothers and stuff like that, aren't they? And it's absolutely mental. And let's carry on. I don't think we'll pause much, to be honest with you, because it is just so enthralling, isn't it?
And the Korean War were interred in the plaza beside their World War I comrade. The tomb sarcophagus was placed above the grave of the unknown soldier of World War I in April 1931. The sarcophagus is constructed of 7 rectangular pieces of white marble, together weighing 79 tons. On the west panel of the sarcophagus, facing the amphitheater, are the words, "Here rests, in honored glory, an American soldier, known but to God." On the east panel, facing the Capitol, 3 Greek figures have been sculpted. On the left stands Peace, holding a dove in one hand. On the right stands Valor, bearing a broken sword in his hands. In the center stands Victory, holding hands with Peace while extending an olive branch to Valor. The north and south panels present a total of 6 inverted wreaths, each representing a major campaign of World War I. West of the sarcophagus are the crypts of unknowns from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Those 3 graves are marked with white marble slabs that lie flush with the plaza. Since April 6, 1948, the tomb of the unknown soldier has been guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, regardless of weather. In blazing sun, freezing snow, and even in the face of hurricanes, the sentinels continue their watch. The sentinels, members of the 3rd Infantry, or Old Guard, are famous for the precision of their march and changing of the guard. The sentinel marches 21 steps across a black mat, past the crypts of each unknown. He then makes a crisp 90-degree turn to face east for 21 seconds. He then makes another 90-degree turn, facing north for 21 seconds. A crisp shoulder arms movement places the rifle on the shoulder nearest the visitors to signify that the sentinel stands between the tomb and any threat. After that moment, the sentinel paces 21 steps north, turns, and repeats the process. Every hour during the winter, and every half hour during summer daylight hours, the sentinels conduct the changing of the guard ceremony. As the new sentinel approaches the relief commander, slowly and with great precision, conducts a white glove inspection of the sentinel's weapon. The two then march to the center of the mat, where the active sentinel stops his walk, and all three men salute the tomb. The relief commander instructs the active sentinel, "Pass on your orders." The sentinel replies, "Post and orders remain as directed." The relieving sentinel responds, "Orders acknowledged." The relieving sentinel then steps into position at the center of the black mat. The relief commander and relieved sentinel exit, and the new sentinel begins his march. The unknown soldiers serve to remind us that not all actions of valor are witnessed and recorded in war. We do not know the stories of these men, but we know they gave their lives in a war they did not start to protect the freedom of people who would never know their names. They demonstrate the courage and heroism of every man and woman who goes into combat in service of their nation. They will face threats we can hardly imagine in an attempt to eliminate the dangers that are posed to the men in the trench beside them.
I mean, that is the end of it. What did you reckon?
I don't.
Wow, very powerful, isn't it? And again, I think
words can really.
Yeah, he summed it. I think summed it up quite well towards the end and stuff like that, explaining like we can't imagine what goes on there.
Definitely
and stuff like
somewhere
that.
we should go to visit.
100%. We definitely got to go and visit it. 100%. I imagine it's more powerful even in person. There is also a video on the actual changing of the guard and stuff like that. So I think we definitely need to check that out. Just so you get an idea of what he was describing, you get to see the whole visual of it and stuff like that. And because they are trained to the absolute T. And I think it was it 1948 it had been guarded by? Every single, literally millisecond since then has been guarded, which is absolutely amazing. And again, I know I've said it like 20 times, but just respect on the 9th, whatever degree. Absolutely incredible. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, smash that like button, would seriously appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Let us know if you want us to check out the Guard of Honor so Millie can see that for the first time. And any other videos you want to react to in the comments below. Have a fantastic day, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.